back to Classroom Brew. This is episode 128, and yes, I know I got the episode number wrong on the last one in the beginning. Sorry, not the first time. If you haven't already, make sure you rate and review whatever app you're listening in, guys. I really appreciate that. If you want to check out this episode right now, we are actually doing it as a video episode. The only catch is that it's exclusive for Patreon members. So if you go to patreon.com/classroombrew, you can check out the new setup that we have. We have the little whiskey barrel. We got the little radio arm. We got the nice little table for it. We got all the stuff that's like wires and stuff hidden, so it looks real nice for you. We went all out for this one. So check that out. Again, patreon.com/classroombrew. You can be a patron, just pledge monthly, or if you want, you can join some of the tiers. So we have 2 different tiers that have different perks to them. If you already are a Patreon subscriber, I really appreciate that. Thank you for the support. We're also on YouTube and all that crap, you know. Obviously, if you're listening to this in iTunes or the audio and that's your jam, appreciate you. Do that rating and review. For this episode, I'm not going to lie. When I was when I was making my drink, let's use this radio arm, see how far she goes. Not bad. He's dying. If you want to see the dying, you can go to the Patreon. Oh, it lowers too. That's nice. If you want, or what? Did I just start a sentence and make a mistake because it was not the sentence that I picked up with like 2 seconds later? Yeah, I did. Cool. It'll take a while to get used to this little arm. So yeah, when I was making the drink, I made 2 of them because you know what? I'm going to start this 2 drink minimum. And I started one of them to test it, but we got some mango and rum because you know that I'm going with rum because it makes me feel like I'm on vacation, even when I'm clearly not because, you know, it's the school year and it is what it is. It's all good, but it's the school year. And I spilled it because rather than make a dish dirty, I was like, I'll just, you know, stir it with my hand like this with the glass and, you know, the ice will do a good job. And it went all over my shirt. So you can't tell, but it's all over me, which is just a perfect way to end the week. It was a really long week. There was like 4 fights at the school and it's all good, but there were like 4 fights at the school. And then I ended it with like this like twinge in my back at the gym. You ever just give up at the gym? That's where I was at. Not a good lift. So I was like, you know what? Perfect time to record, get back in the swing of things. And you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to go on Instagram, and hopefully more than 1 of you, 2 of you, because I've posted polls before, and I'll get like one. I'll be like, what's your favorite color? They'll be like, music? Like, what? I'm going to post a poll and be like, what's your favorite rum-based drink, or what's your favorite drink, or something like that. And let's just see what happens. You know what I mean? I'll even do it with, you'll see the actual shot, and then I'll put the poll in front of it, and then we'll go from there. But I'll even take suggestions. What's a drink you'd like to see on the next episode, or whatever? What's a good drink he should try? He being me. No. What's a good drink I should try for our next episode? And then the real fans will obviously give me something to work with here, you know? See how that goes on the story. Yeah, posted it. So if you see it, you'll know when I'm doing a recording on this one. And we'll go from there. I'll put that in the highlights so I can not lose the results afterward. But we'll see. Oh, cool. I just saw one from Be Love, Teach Love. That's Lauda. Talking about how she uses mental health days. Let's see what she's saying.
She did an amazing job, and I feel beautiful.
Let's see what. Lauda, you're getting a little special segment right now. That's cool.
Hey, I just got my hair done by Katie. She did an amazing job, and I feel beautiful. And I stopped and picked up some Plum Power burgers, some boys from my parents, and some soft serve. It's been a pretty good day so far.
That sounds like an awesome self-care day. Mental health day yesterday, which is great because I was asking people, how do you do it? You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. Yeah, see, I asked a question, what do you want to see improve in the podcast? And somebody put, or what do you like about the podcast and what do you want to see improve? One person just said, hey. Cool. Hey, how are you? And then somebody else for what they liked, they said music with a question mark? Like the music, I guess? Was it because I did the one with my voice last week? I like that. You guys might not. That might have been annoying, but at least I cut it off early. I thought it was great. And actually, my friend Brittany, she's got a podcast too. It is all things mental health in black. Brittany is a licensed counselor, and she's talking about the stigma of, well, the importance of taking care of your mental health, but also in the black community, the stigma and the way that the systems in our country are kind of fucking with everybody and messing with things, and it makes it more difficult for people that need the help that need services for whatever they're going through. It's more difficult for them to actually go seek it out, and I think that's valid. So check that out. I think she's on Spotify right now, and she's going to get it elsewhere. She's just starting out. Maybe we'll have her on, and vice versa, and we can learn more about where she's going. So I'm pretty excited for that one. But yeah, 2 drink minimum, so I'm going to actually keep up. I gotta stop making them so strong. I got one of those little hook things for my back. I should have done it on the podcast for you guys. That would have been so cool. I don't know why I'm looking at my notes. Now keep in mind, I haven't been podcasting as much lately. I got ahead. I banked a handful of episodes, literally. And when you get ahead, it's an opportunity to take a break, which I welcome. Anytime I can take a little bit of a break from anything in life, you know what I'm saying? Teachers are like, yep. And I don't know what this note entirely means. It just says I do know it. I don't know where I was going to connect it, but it says Antonio and Russell. Because I was watching Gladiator with Russell Crowe, and there's the part where he goes, "The frost, it makes the blade stick." And I was like, how do I know that line, by the way? Like, perfectly. Katie looked at me like I had 4 heads. And then I don't know why I connected it to Antonio Banderas. I think I might have had like some reaction to like something a student did, and I went like, ay. Like one of those things that Antonio would do. He goes like, ooh. That's such an Antonio Banderas thing. So I don't know what the fuck I was writing that for. But I see my throat on that one. But I did have a couple interesting things. We did these catapult launches in my MBAR class. It was a nice little team building thing, and I was giving them like little barriers that they had to find solutions to. Like I would add little caveats like you can't support it with the other hand. You can only pull it back whatever your catapult is launching with. At one point I said they couldn't speak verbally, which was like the last little caveat they had to like work around with the last like 2 minutes. And when it came time for launching, there were some kids that were like, well, no, that didn't go further. Like they were like really competitive. Like they were friendly about it, but still competitive. Friendly, but competitive. Friendly competition. So I guess that's healthy. And it was at the point where like I said right away, like guys, wherever it hits first on the floor, that's where I'm putting this sticky note to measure it. Because whoever goes the furthest in this friendly competition, emphasis on friendly, that's going to be the winning group. And I gave the top 2 groups, and there are only 5 groups total, bragging rights and like the prize, which is like some candy, and I had a few T-shirts for the top one. But there's some kids that were like, well, no, you're cheating right now. Like, how am I I have no stake in this. I was already going to give you the shirts and shit. You know what I mean? And it got to the point, too, where I was almost like, do you want me to, I used to work at Lowe's, okay? I worked at a hardware store. You know how many times I would measure some shit? Or like the people that I would work with would measure some. Like everyone is so, when I worked in lumber, especially, everyone was so keen to measure something. Like, you need 9 feet? You need 9 feet? Okay, you measure it. I'll measure it for you. I can measure it for you, bro. No problem. Yeah, I can cut that. Yeah, it's a good piece of lumber. The first day, too, when I'm trying to talk, like, I didn't know what a shim was on the first day because, like, I had no lumber experience. It took me, like, a week to, like, fully get everything. And I get some guy, he's like, yeah, I just need some 16 foot 2x4s, you recommend cedar or you think pine? And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck, pine? We have pine? I don't know. Like, what are you building? And there was one point where people were just like talking about it, checking the time. Some people were talking about the lumber. There's a good piece of lumber right there. That's a good piece. Eventually, I'm starting to talk like that shit. Like, you need to measure that? It's a good piece of lumber right there. It's a good yard. Yeah. I don't know what that accent, kind of Chicago, like suburban. But that's what life was like when you worked in a hardware store. Everyone's got to over measure shit. Anyways, back to the story. 2 drink minimum. You guys asked for it. I was like, you really want me to? All right. I gave you 2 trials. You really don't think I can spot where it hits the floor, and you really think I'm trying to cheat? I'm getting closer to the camera now. If you learn the video podcast, patreon.com/questionbrew. At like a mile a minute right now. You really think I'm trying to cheat you out of this competition? Also, I got witnesses that saw where it happened. Partial and impartial witnesses that know exactly where the thing landed. I was like, what? That was my initial reaction. They're like, you're cheating, Mr. F. I was like, what? Why would... Okay. Anyway, I had a French teacher. If you listen to the episodes with Brian, he wrote the song, Dear Madame, you the best. The only teacher for us. The only French teacher for us in the whole school, I guess. Let's go. That one, she would always... So pourquoi is why, right? Hey, Google, what is the French word for why?
In French, that's pourquoi.
Okay, thank you, Google. Didn't have to get my phone out for that. And sometimes you just go, quoi? That's what I'm going to start doing. Just random, quoi? What are you doing? Questioning me. You think I really care who wins the competition? I just wanted you guys to do the activity. That's the point. The win is just like the piece on top, and it gets you guys invested in it. Quoi? Why would I care? Quoi? Quoi? That's the title. Is that the title of the episode? Quoi? I don't know. I got one more weird thing on here. That might be the title. I guess we'll see. Say it with me, guys. Quoi? Quoi? Not quoi like the last name, but quoi. Q-U-O-I. I Googled it. Hey, Google, how do you spell pourquoi? Let's see what she says.
Pourquoi is spelled P-O-U-R-Q-U-O-I.
He did it. He did it. The 2 degrees did it. The 2 post-secondary degrees did it, guys. That's what those letters after my name got me. I can spell French words and English words pretty decent. Anyway, yeah, no, if you haven't checked out Brittany's podcast, which if you're hearing this for the first time, obviously you haven't, definitely do check it out. I feel like it's going to be great. She's doing it bi-weekly, which I fully understand. The weekly grind it can be difficult sometimes if you don't, if you're not a 3-year vet like some of us. You should hear that on the, yeah, so there was this one thing, Grrrat Tat is what I wrote in my notes. I've got this theory in terms of when I think that they're listening, but you ever, like those TikToks where it's like, you ever wonder what's going on in someone's head? I think that's from like the movie Inside Out. Like that's like the whole premise of the shit, right? You ever wonder what's going on in someone's head? Or what they're thinking or whatever it is? And I have this theory of what's going on in my student's head. So if we're talking about, I gotta stop making these strong. I'm really going through these, by the way. You're welcome, guys. You're getting the real deal, the real show right now for this video podcast. Again, patreon.com/questionbrew. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I think it's Inside Out. So I don't know if that's an Inside Out trailer. I know people on TikTok are doing it. Which, by the way, I have some kids that are like, I'm not gonna get tarnished by TikTok. I'm not gonna get into it. Download it. Is there gonna be an ad? No ad. We're good. Cool. That was not me. No, that's not it. Is it like a cat thing? You ever wonder what's going on in someone's head? What the hell is that from? Do you ever look at someone and wonder what's going on inside their head? Memer. Like,
do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Right, there it is. Okay, I don't know what it's from. It just says TikTok memes, but TikToks are all over the place. And so here's the consensus that I've come to, because I'm convinced that sometimes we're all used to this as teachers when we have to repeat ourselves a million times. We all get it. And you know what? When I was a student, was I much better? No. I got started on shit before I heard the directions. I failed that activity with, I think it was Mrs. Can when I was in 3rd grade, when it you have to read the directions and the directions tell you to read through all of the questions before you start the assignment. And then like the second to last question is like skip everything except for questions 1, 11, and the last one or some shit. And like, obviously if you're like, they were like things like go around the room and find like the class library and find a book or some shit. And of course I failed that part. So I get it. But I heard this song, and what's the guy's name? Kids See Ghosts. Was it Lil Jon? It sounded like Lil Jon. But the hook, or the whatever you want to call it in the background, Kids See Ghosts, Feel the Love. You can look this up. But Lil Jon's part is the best part ever. Because here's what it sounds like. Yeah, you hear that? Blah, 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 blah. What? What happened just now? Also, it says rude, like rude boy. That's what he's saying. Now, I don't know if that's like innuendo in the song. So if it is, don't hold it against me. I don't know. I just thought it was fucking hilarious when I was driving on Lakeshore and I hear Little John going, what the fuck, man? So, okay. Instantly, my thought was, my students when I'm giving instructions, or my students when I'm explaining how to do something or giving them the content. It could be something like, it probably fades in too, you know what I mean? Like, all right, guys, our objective for the day is we're going to work on writing a claim and supporting it with evidence. And if you notice the thing on there, All right, guys, so if you're struggling with this one, this question, let's go to question number 4 on your DBQ. And just tune me out. You know what I'm saying? Or like, all right, guys, so I know you're going to be confused about this. I don't want you to panic, but here's what we're going to do. Just not listening. Or if I have to like turn the lights off because we're about to do something and I'll be like, all right, nobody, or turn off the air. That's what it is. If I have to turn off the air for something because it's too loud for the speakers, oh my God, it's like I raised hell. I'll literally say like, I'll be like commencing panic in 3, 2, 1, and then I hit the little switch that turns off the AC outlet or whatever. And because I'm saying, all right, and then nobody panic in 3, 2, 1, they don't hear it. And then of course the panic is instilled right after that. People are like, why is Lil Jon in this episode so much? So that's my theory, is that, and maybe it's happening for you guys too. As you're listening to this episode, maybe you're like, oh, Ryan's talking. Or whatever he's saying. So I wrote Grrrat Tat on my notes. It's the most weird thing. So I don't know. What's the weirdest one? Quoi? Or Grrrat Tat? Grrrat Tat? I don't know what the lyric is. You get the point. I don't know if I'm going to get copyright claim for that. I don't know. If I talk, what's the rule? If you talk over it or some shit like that? I don't know. I had a great time with that. Some people, I was surprised. I don't know if people just didn't notice the intro music from last week. I liked it. Speaking of that, if you would like to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, if you go to patreon.com/classroombrew, you can see some behind-the-scenes stuff from the show that I don't even that I don't even post about on social media. So I'm not even going to tell you now because it's a secret. So there's some stuff, as long as you're a Patreon for a good portion of it. So whatever you pledge, you'll be able to access most of that stuff. Now, there is some tiered stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. The stuff that usually takes a little bit more effort, I'm obviously going to, reward the people that are supporting the show. Because you guys are truly what make the show go around. And in the famous words of Chris D'Elia, it's free conch, do what you want, but go to patreon.com/classroombrew. So if you wanted to see the behind the scenes, this is the one preview I will give you guys, behind the scenes of the making of that song, you can obviously get that on Patreon. And it didn't take that long, honestly. It was very off tempo for some of it, but who cares? It was fun. We're having a grand old time. Hopefully Brittany's not using this episode as her I want a podcast. So let me just use Ryan's as a template. You know what? No, fuck that. This is a great episode. I don't care what you say. So anyways, and the one more important thing that I really wanted to tell you guys was that if you're, oh man, it freezes. Come on, YouTube. There it is. There goes the bit. Well, let's pretend like that didn't happen. Okay? Say it with me. Quoi? Quoi, internet? Quoi? let's pretend that let's take it from the beginning. All right, so here's something really important for you guys, listeners. For sure gonna get copyright claimed. So, that's that. So if you're in the same boat and that's the same thing with your students where you're convinced that they took their little John's going on in their head, if you ever wonder what's going on in someone's head, do you ever look at someone and wonder what's going on in someone's head? It's probably Lil Jon going copyright and claim. Thank you, Lil Jon, for that. That's truly beautiful. I wonder if I should distill my own like rum or some shit. All right. This 2-drink thing is really going to be fantastic for me, I can tell. But yeah, so feeling much better. Right after I did the first episode, the last week's episode, which I actually recorded a couple weeks prior, I got really sick for like the second time in as many weeks, which was annoying as shit. But now I'm feeling a little better. You can kind of hear it in my voice a little bit. But yeah, we're doing the podcast unit in U.S. history. I'm going to probably do one in my AP Psych class, maybe in my MBark. It's going really well so far. No big complaints, really. We got a couple things coming up that I'm really excited for, and not just the conspiracy stuff for my students, but also some stuff for Classroom Brew. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but you're going to hear some special guests, some origin stories, dare I say, and stuff that you wouldn't expect. So, hassle Travis Arroyo Travis on Instagram. Tell him to get his podcast started so you can join the Classroom Brew network. He's got some stuff recorded. He's got all his gear. Let's get him going on that. But that was all I really had for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're still listening, that is. Just dying over here. But yeah, check out the Patreon. Obviously, take care of yourselves. The self-care stuff you guys heard from Laura. She probably didn't know she was going to have that. I mean, she tagged me on social media, so she knew people were going to listen to it, but maybe not on the podcast. So you're welcome, Laura. But slurred that a little bit. Sorry. 2-drink minimum. I'm not going to do the Lil Jon thing anymore. I think I beat that one to death, right? But thank you guys so much. Rate and review. Spread the word. I feel like at a certain point, all podcasts plateau. You know what I mean? And I want it to keep growing. Like, truly, I want it to reach more people. I know we're international. Like, we got a lot of people in Australia, so that's cool. But Europe and places like that, South Africa, a few in Nigeria, like, fantastic. We're everywhere, but I want it to keep spreading. So by word of mouth, that's honestly the best way. So, send them one of the clips on Instagram. Send them a clip from YouTube. Send them the Patreon, if you really want some extra credit there. You like that one? Teacher phrase. But yeah, so thanks so much for listening. Rate and review, all that good stuff. Reach me at Classroom Brew on social media. You can email me, classroombrew@gmail.com. If you want to send a voice memo, a voice memo, we can play that on the episode. You just heard Lauda. That was being played on there. If you wanted to hear... This is 128. If you wanted to watch it and get the extra effect, so like when I get close to the camera, with this new radio arm that I got, like this shit. You know what? I just took the table with me. It does everything I wanted. I could go anywhere with it. That's awesome. As it's blocking my face right now, but you know what? It's the money maker. Brew. That was it. So thanks so much for listening, watching, supporting, and spreading the word. And until next week, guys, class dismissed. Woo, 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 woo.